Namaskar, my dear friends. Let us talk about microcontroller that we are going to see, which is MSPM0. Okay, MSPM0L and MSPM0G series are one of the most popular and most advanced technology IC series that has been developed by Texas Instruments that you can see. So it can be also considered as breakthrough for low cost, simple design as well as scalable application designs. So we have a lot of low pin counts to higher pin counts. We have already seen various schematics using MSPM0L series. Now we are going to see a complete schematic design with MSPM0Z series. Okay. So the microcontroller that we have taken is MSPM0G3507. Okay. So you can make a note MSPM0G3507. This is going to be 64 pin LQFP package. Okay. Now what we are going to see is before starting the complete schematic that we have designed for several applications and all these things one by one, what we will do is we will try to understand what are the things that we need to take care of or what are the things that we need to look into before designing the circuit. So let us say first of all, we have to understand how we are going to design the microcontroller schematic design. Okay. So the first thing is we have to have design requirement. Then how we are going to start? Like we have to have microcontroller requirements, parameters, and what are the power supplies schemes. All these things we will be assigning one by one. Then how to design microcontroller schematic, that also we'll see. And then we will start with our microcontroller schematic design approach, like first of all power supply schemes, then power supply requirements, then assigning the different functionalities or pin functionalities and all these things. So these are the things that we will be taking care of before designing the circuit. As you can see from the website of this particular microcontroller, that is, let's go to the TI website. So as you can see, this is the TI website and it says this MSPM0Z series is up to 80 megahertz ARM Cortex M0 plus. So this is going to be the lowest speed kind of thing you can consider. However, it is having 128 kilobytes of flash memory, 32 kilobytes of SRAM, as well as they have two ADCs. Okay, they have dual ADCs with DAC as well as comparators, and we have op amps. So three comparators are there, two op amps are there. You have CAN FD as well, and there are a lot of mathematical functions. So you don't need separately, separate op amps or something like that to do some, different functionalities. Okay, and you can see if you talk about the packages, we have a lot of packages like QFN package or like LQFP package, like a 48 pin and 64 pin and then 32 pin package. So a lot of different packages are also available. Good. So what we'll do is we'll instead of directly getting into the circuit, just quickly have a look into the data sheet and see what are the different features and all these things are available. Then most important part that I want to bring out into picture before getting into the circuits is it has several applications like motor control. Lot of motors are being used in ACs or freeze, washing machine, washers, dishwashers. There are various applications where this can be utilized, like home appliances, all the home appliances. Then it has UPS and inverters as well. Then we have electronics point of sale count, systems. Then medical and healthcare. It has test and measurement equipments. They can be used in your factory automation and control purposes. Then industrial transports like robotics and everything. Then we have grid infrastructure like power meters and all. Then smart metering. Then we have communication modules and lightings. Lighting is basically like LED drivers with like motion sensors and all these things. These are the various applications this particular ICs can be utilized. Okay. So wherever you see MSPM0L, that cannot be used because of the lower speed or maybe lower pin count. MSPM0Z series can be used because they have the better functionality, little bit upgradation. The most important part is this MSPM0G series has automotive version as well, so they can be utilized in automotive applications as well. Okay. So all right, now what we will do is we will get into the circuit designs. So let's start with circuits. Okay, so as you can see, the symbol has been designed in such a fashion that since it has only one port, that is PA port, like port A, so PAX can be considered as port A 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. So all the pins have been arranged in a fashion of port wise, like port A 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, up to around 31 or something, 31, right? Then we have port B, so port B from 0 to 27. So like that it has been arranged. Similar to that, we have a power pin. So power pin and reset pin is here. So we have reset NRST pin, then power pin, internal core power, and power supply pin VDD. Okay, and this is the ground pin. Now let us see. Let's talk about the pin configuration or pin assignments. So we have we have I2C pins, then we have low frequency oscillator pins, then we have high frequency oscillator connector pins, then we have clock out pin also, like you can take this clock out and you can give that clock pin to some other functionalities. Then we have UART pins like 1 and UART 0, 2 UARTs are there. Then we have CAN RX TX pin. Then this is used for some IR sensor pin. Okay. Then we have DAC output. Then we have one op amp has been used, like inbuilt op amp is there. Two op amps are there. One of them has been used for some functionality. This is the by wire programming, that is SWDIO and SWCLK programming. This particular resistor I didn't tell you. So this particular resistor has been used to trim the internal oscillator so that it can give you the proper oscillation. Coming back to the lower parts, we have ADC values. Then we have PWM. So 6 PWMs I have taken outside so that if you want, you can utilize them for motor driver applications. Okay, like full bridge application you can utilize. Then we have SPI. So two SPIs are there, like SPI 0 and SPI 1. So SPI 1 you can see we have. Before that we can see one more I2C functionality has been used. Buzzer is also taken as PWM only, so there that is there. One or two pins has been left out. If you want, you can use them for some other purpose as well. Then we have SPI 1 has been used. Then we have push button user push buttons. Then we have LEDs. Again SPIs are there here. Then we have user LEDs here, and we have dip switches as well. So dip switches for different configurations that can be taken care. Okay. So this was all about the pin assignments and functionalities. Now coming back to the programming part, so you can see we have the programming connector here, 4-pin programming connector. One is like power pin, one is ground pin, and rest two are the data and clock pins. You can see we have the high frequency oscillators, like 12 megahertz oscillator I have used, and then we have RTC application for that low frequency oscillator. We have 32.768 kilohertz. Coming back to the reset functionality and power supplies. So reset functionality, you can see we have reset button which can be pressed and it will give you the a INRST pin to ground. But to keep working this particular microcontroller, like it should be allowed to work, this NRST pin must be pulled up. So that's the reason it is pulled up. Okay. Now coming back to the power supply of this IC, so we have VDD pin. So VDD is nothing but your 3.3 volt with one 10 microfarad of bulk capacitors plus 0.1 microfarad of decoupling capacitor. Okay, and then V core is used, which is requiring 0.47 microfarad. So this was all about the power supplies, then programming and oscillators, and we have NRST pin. If you do not want to use oscillator, external oscillator, you can remove them and you can use internal oscillator of the IC. Okay, so right now I'll just keep it as it is, not a problem. Okay. Now let us get into the next pages. So next page I have various applications, like I have put one, like a buzzer. So audio buzzer can be used for some alarm purpose or something like that, for some beep sounds. Okay, so it can give you a beep sound of 2.71 kilohertz PWM you have to give as input. So buzzer will be taking an input of PWM signal, and this is how it will be working. Okay. Coming back to the other part, we have IR sensor. So IR sensor can be used to, detect some IR signals. We have ambient sensors also. So this ambient sensors is used, and internal op amps has been used to amplify the signal and get you the outputs. Okay, so this is how it is being used. Coming back to the voltage monitoring and all those things, so we have, let us say, two voltages are there. One is 5 volt VCC and one is 3.3 volt VDD. So they have been, like a voltage divided, and then after buffering and filtering, they are going to the ADC of your microcontroller. Similar to that, 3.3 volt is also done the same manner, and it is going to your ADC. So this is always a good practice to, like pass it through an op amp and then send it through a filter and then send it to your ADC channel. However, one thing you have to understand is the voltage input that you are going to send to the ADC, that must be lower than the, the reference voltage that you are going to see. So it must be less than, I think, 2.5 volt, that I'll tell you later on. Okay. Coming back to various peripherals that we are going to assign, so we have, like SPI interface EEPROM. So you can see we have 256 kilobits of EEPROM with SPI signal. So SPI, like SPI1 has been used, like MISO and MOSI, and this is how it is connected. So this particular EEPROM has been used from microchip technology. Coming back to the another, like EEPROM that I have used, 4 kilobits of EEPROM, that is with I2C, interface. So just I2C interface, and it is permanently made write enable. If you want, you can disable this or something like that by connecting it to, like a microcontroller IO pin. So if you pull it high, then it will be disabled. Like that, it will work out. Okay. Let us get into the next page. As we saw just now, like ambient light sensors, so we have ambient light sensor one, like a very new IC that we have used from Vijay. So Vijay Dell has, like this particular IC based on I2C interface. So this I2C interface is going to, like find out what is the ambient light sensor in the, like outside. Coming back to other parts, we have put one potentiometer so that you can check your ADC values. So this is how it has been used. So as you rotate the knob, you will be having a variation of resistors, and it will be giving you the output. The power supply voltage indicator is being used here at this place. So as you can see, we have, like D4 LED. So this LED will be glowing, and this is how you will be seeing that my 3.3 volt is available on the board. Coming back to some IOs, so we have deep switches that is directly connected. So this side it is open and this side it is on. Okay. So once you slide the switch towards VCC, this will be on. Sorry, just make a change here. This is not VCC, this will be VDD. Okay. That is 3.3 volt. Coming back to the other part, so two push buttons are used, and they have been, like this is having capacitors as well, so that you can remove the debouncing effects or something like that, and they are going to your user PB0 and user PB1 to your microcontroller IOs. Then these three user LEDs 0, 1, 2 are being used as a, like sync button to the, or sync pin to the microcontroller, and whenever my microcontroller pin will be pulled low, then this will be glowing. So these LEDs will be glowing whenever it is going to go low. However, as you can see, we must take care of how much current is flowing through this particular LEDs, because microcontroller may not be able to, like sync or source a very high value of current. In that case, this is one of the very good method by like glowing the LEDs using MOSFETs. Okay. So what I have done is I have used a single, like 3 LEDs, which is going to have RGB function, okay, red, green, and blue functionalities. So this blue LEDs, green LEDs, and red LEDs can be, like these are the microcontroller signals. So once it is going high, the this particular MOSFET will get switched on, and this is how the LED will glow. So slowly, like one of the LEDs or all the three of LEDs can be glowing based on the, like requirement that you are going to put. Okay. Now, if you talk about the, like a PWM connector, so you can take out PWM connector, all the PWM outputs like PWM 1 to 6, and we have the power supply as well. So if there is a board that is connected, which is going to drive a motor or something like that, this particular PWM signal can be taken to that board. And similar to that, if you do not want to, like use this particular op amp for some other internal purpose, you can take this outside to amplify some signal and get the output of that. So this is how it is being used. This particular connector will help you to do that job. All right, so what we'll do is we'll keep up to this. Now in the next session, we'll try to explain other parts of the circuit. Okay, so this is how we will be proceeding slowly one by one with this particular circuit. So if you do have any questions or anything that you want to make changes in this particular microcontroller that we have explained you right now, that is MSPM0G series. So you can put down your questions in the comment box and we shall be able to give you answers as soon as possible. So I will put the link of this particular microcontroller in the description box, and you can go through various applications that is recommended by Texas Instruments, and we are going to see this particular microcontroller applications in details. Thank you guys.